This is WSLS 10 at 6.
An overcast sky closes out this Wednesday in the Star City. This after rain and snow fell throughout parts of the region. Yes, folks, we are still talking about snow. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jay Warren.
I'm Kara McNew. We are officially a week from spring, but judging from today's cold wind, there's no question there's still a little winter weather out there for us.
That is for sure. Storm Team 10 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Hanowich is in our weather center tonight with your evening forecast. Jeff, flurries today. What's up?
Yeah, we're looking at the precipitation tapering off for us here very soon, probably like the next 4 to 6 hours or so. The only folks who saw a very light accumulation were the western-facing slopes into the highest elevations. Now, heading into the overnight, we're actually going to close out the day with at least some sun, also some clouds. 7 p.m. temperature, lower 40s, falling into the mid to upper 20s by 6 a.m. Overall tonight, we're going to be blustery, but the clouds should exit. For more on where the snow showers are falling right now, I'm going to toss it into the Weather Center. Here's Christina.
Hey Jeff, well right now we're looking at Roanoke and points westward, really getting on those snow showers. Eastward, we're really just kind of looking at those rain showers for right now. I'm going to take you into Montgomery County, and that's where Blacksburg is getting in on some of these snow showers at the moment. Right now, streets such as Oak Manor, we'll zoom closer into Blacksburg for you, where we're seeing a lot of areas there getting in on just light snow showers right now. We're not really looking at anything heavy at the moment. These showers right now are just moving to the east and southeast at about 20 to 30 miles per hour. I'm thinking all of this activity should be over by about midnight. For right now, we'll send you back over to Jeff and Karen.
All right, Christina. Well, Radford police say they caught a Radford University professor with bath salts. According to university records, the criminal justice professor started teaching at the university in 2011. WSLS 10's Scott Lehman joins us now live in our newsroom with the latest on this arrest. Scott, unusual circumstances here, particularly since we're talking about a criminal justice professor.
Oh yeah, and Radford University is not really saying a whole lot about this right now, calling it a personnel matter, but it's what the court record says that this professor told the cops as to why he had all these synthetic drugs, bath salts in the first place, that might surprise you. Court records show it all started with a neighbor trying to be neighborly. Radford police say they got a call claiming Radford University professor Taj Mahan Haf's side door was open, wondering if it might be a burglar. Officers cleared the home to make sure it was burglar-free. When in one room, police claimed they found weed, a rolled-up dollar bill, a razor, and a line of white powder laid out on a flat surface. Court records note the powder was, quote, in a line as in preparation for consumption. In all, police wrote they found 10 grams of that white powder in the home. Court records claim it turned out to be bath salts. So police charged the criminal justice professor with several crimes. It's spring break here at RU, so not a whole lot of people are here. This building behind me holds the professor's office. Court records show that he told the cops that he bought those 10 ounces of illegal drugs off the internet for a research project. Mahone Haf's RU Bio page shows his research efforts are focused, in part, on drugs and drug policy. He teaches Intro to Criminal Justice 2 times a week, and on Wednesdays leads a seminar in Roanoke titled War on Drugs. The professor has no criminal record after having a previous drug charge dismissed in Montgomery County more than a decade ago. The professor's file there in Radford Circuit Court shows that police found 3 different types of bath salts in his home. So far, the professor has not returned a request for an interview. That's it for now. Reporting live here in the newsroom, Scott Lehman, WSLS 10.
A Giles County firefighter is arrested and charged with embezzlement. Jason Ferguson is accused of stealing money from the Glen Lynn Volunteer Fire Department. Police say he stole $900 in fundraising money. Ferguson was the department's 2nd lieutenant. He's due in Giles County General District Court in May.
Students in the Roanoke Valley react to today's election of a new pope. The bells at St. Andrew's Catholic Church tolled as soon as white smoke poured out of the Sistine Chapel. Meanwhile, inside Roanoke Catholic, students watched the live coverage.
It just makes me feel as part of the universal church, knowing that all Catholics around the world are probably looking at this right now and cherishing the moment.
It's been pretty historic, so it's exciting to be able to share this with them.
Pope Francis of Argentina is the first Latin American pope.
Virginia's rich history is living strong in part due to the roots of one of our nation's founding fathers. Poplar Forest is known as Thomas Jefferson's second home. Well, here we are, centuries later, and organizers at Jefferson's summer retreat are using a few of his favorite pastimes to keep his traditions alive. WSLS 10's Aaron Martin explains.
History can be fascinating, intriguing, or even moving, but rarely will you hear it described as fun. Poplar Forest Wayne Ganaway is that exception.
History can be fun. In fact, people come to historic sites when they're engaging and when they're fun, and that's what we're trying to do.
Poplar Forest, which served as Thomas Jefferson's personal retreat, is finding new, unique ways to draw visitors. 5 years ago, the historic house began hosting a fall wine festival, which is growing in popularity, and next month Poplar Forest will host its first beer tasting event. Ganaway says it's all about connecting a new generation with history.
Jefferson not only loved wine and had it imported, but he also loved beer. And he actually brewed it. He grew hops and he brewed it here on site. And so we're leveraging that historical fact.
And so far, it's working. Poplar Forest has seen the number of visitors grow by around 6% in the last 2 years. That number becomes even more impressive when you see the drop-off in attendance at historic homes nationwide. The Washington Post reports average attendance is down 20%. Ganaway says it's a sign Poplar Forest is doing something right, but the goal is to keep finding new ways to connect with visitors.
If you stand still, like a lot of museums are finding, the future is going to keep moving and you're going to be left behind.
At Poplar Forest, Aaron Martin, WSLS 10.
A popular sandwich chain gives 2 local fire departments a much-needed boost. Today, Firehouse Subs presented Roanoke and Salem Fire EMS with a grant for more than $15,000 to buy some new thermal imaging cameras. Those cameras pick up on heat signs and allow firefighters to find people in burning buildings or detect fires burning in walls. Firehouse Subs was founded by 2 firefighters and makes it a point to help fire departments that need life-saving equipment.
Thanks for what they do for us. It's important. We don't realize we need them until we need them, and then they're the most important thing.
Both departments say because of budget constraints, they couldn't afford the cameras without this grant.
A Roanoke High School student is going above and beyond her work inside the classroom to make a difference around the world. At 17 years old, yes, 17, she's one of the founders of a nonprofit organization called U.S. Kids Care. WSLS 10's Lindsay Ward now with the dedication and the commitment she has to serving kids worldwide that has earned her this year's Community Impact Hero.
Anne Claire Levy comes home from school and starts working on her homework like a typical teenager. She spent all day in the classroom, then after school behind the wheel. Anne Claire is busy, but this high school junior makes time to give back. Right now, Anne Claire and other students with U.S. Kids Care are gearing up for their annual Easter egg hunt fundraiser. Anne Claire, her older sisters, and their friends came up with the idea for U.S. Kids Care back in 2005 after a tsunami hit Southeast Asia. They had these bracelets made to sell and raise money. They ended up collecting $6,000 to send to UNICEF.
It was really surprising. I mean, being a second grader, and I think our oldest kid was maybe in 5th grade. And we just were amazed that such young kids could do something.
They took the bull by the horn and they just went for it. And in just 3 short months, they had raised $10,000. And after they paid off the bills, they sent a $6,000 check to UNICEF and helped a lot of young people from that tsunami.
Since 2005, Anne Claire and U.S. Kids Care have worked on about 250 projects, some in their backyard, like the Easter egg hunt, and others around the world. This effort to make a difference is why Anne Claire's mom, Chris, nominated her as a community impact hero.
The reason I nominate her is because I think that the hero part is the encouragement that I see her give others in trying to help them grow in themselves.
Anne Claire encourages students to give their time and ideas. It's the students who come up with the projects and fundraisers for U.S. Kids Care.
We'll just look out into our community or even global things that are happening. And if there's just an event that kind of touches us in some way, we'll come up with ideas.
Anne Claire has just 1 year left in high school, but says the giving won't end there, and she has a life of making a difference ahead of her. In Roanoke, Lindsay Ward, WSLS 10.
Good for her. And you know, it just goes to show it doesn't matter how old you are, or in this case, how young you are. to really make a difference.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's awesome.
Yeah, very, very cool. A lot of times we see kids thinking about themselves more than others, and it's nice to see the difference. From a student who's making a difference to a man who's inspiring others in the face of adversity.
Yeah, Michael Sizemore is a Virginia Tech alum. During a trip to D.C. last summer to see the Hokies take on Cincinnati at FedEx Field, he was hit by a drunk driver.
And after that accident, he spent 3 months in a medically induced coma with a broken skull, 2 broken bones, and a broken arm.
And Karen, here's the really inspiring part of this story. Despite his injuries, Michael is now on the road to recovery and plans to run next week's Martinsville Half Marathon.
Life still goes on, and you can make the most of it if you decide to push yourself in the right direction.
The Martinsville Half Marathon is next Saturday, March 23rd. Of course, Lindsay and I were going to run that. Lindsay is still running it. I will be cheering her on because of my stress fracture injury.
And how's your injury?
So far, so good. I have another week or so before I can get back to running, so been baby steps on that.
Well, Michael's a true inspiration, so I hope everyone has a great race out there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Still ahead, could a change to daylight savings time be on the horizon?
Your Monday morning drive to work might be better.
No kidding, why some experts say it may benefit our health and sleeping habits to spring forward sooner rather than later. So as many of you start to wind down tonight, perhaps you're feeling a little more worn out than the typical Wednesday.
Yeah, aside from the midweek slump, we all get that, right?
Yeah, we do.
Well, you may have a reasonable excuse this week. Blame that lack of energy on daylight saving time.
That's for sure. One reason experts have suggested moving the time change from Sunday to Saturday morning to give us 2 days to adjust before going back to work on Mondays. Well, let me tell you, I talked to a local sleep specialist at Carilion Clinic today who says it's not a bad idea and it may actually help with the adjustment.
Ah, time. If we only had more of it. Instead, we never feel like we have enough. And since daylight saving time kicked in, we're even an hour short. Sleep specialist Dr. William Elias explains why we may think this year is hitting us harder than others.
There are more poor sleepers in America now than there used to be.
Daylight saving time typically takes 2 or 3 days to recover from, but less sleep, no matter the time of year, affects everything, from our driving to our ability to concentrate. The clock is ticking on our computers, on our smartphones, the tablets we use, inside our cars. There are constant reminders everywhere.
There are specific criteria for a person to take part in an actual sleep study, but some good advice for all of us to follow. We may want to reconsider grabbing that tablet or perhaps our cell phones before we go to sleep, because that can interfere with our sleep patterns. And even more important than missing that 1 hour because of daylight saving time is getting sleep on a regular basis, because when we don't, there can be some pretty serious consequences.
Chronic sleep deprivation is beginning to show up now in terms of eating disorders and cardiovascular disorders. I think safety on the highways.
So even when it feels like time is leaving us behind, Dr. Elias says try to slow down and make time to get the rest our bodies need.
I do want to mention, Dr. Elias says ideally we should try to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night.
And I gotta be honest with you, this is my problem.
That, you check Facebook.
Have the TV on.
Oh my gosh, and that does not help our cause.
And then add daylight saving time to it, and we're in the slump.
We're all messed up.
All right. Well, Jeff will have details on our forecast up next. Stay with us, everyone.
On WPSK.
So close.
Well, an hour ago, he thought we had a bullseye.
I did.
And we were ready to do
a ding, ding,
ding, ding, ding, ding. That close.
I know, and it should have been 46. It should have been. It was like 46.6, but they rounded up to 47.
Maybe it was
that is not fair.
It isn't. Maybe it was a malfunctioning thermometer out there somewhere.
Better luck next time, right?
That's right. That's right.
Fingers crossed tomorrow.
Thank you, Jeff.
Jake goes crazy.
Yeah, it's not stopping. It's everybody's going to put one out before we're finished.
And I think Harlem Shake is crazy, right?
It is. I cannot turn away from any of them. Some people say they're tired of them. I can't stop watching any of them.
What do you say we say goodnight by dancing?
I don't think so.
No.
That's all the time we have for now.
We'll see you back here
Unfortunately,
at 11.
NBC Nightly News is next. Out of time, sweetheart.